Hey, Nickie Brown here. No matter where you are and no matter what part of the world you're in, I hope that you're having a good day. So I was just watching a video with Lisa Bilyeu. What is it? Women of Impact. And she has Trent Shelton. She's interviewing Trent Shelton. To the best of my knowledge, he's a former football player, and he's become basically a motivational speaker. And he talks about relationships for the most part. And he just says something very profound. He said, "I'm not loyal to people, I am loyal to principles." And the reason why I found that interesting is because I'm basically the same way. And I was having a conversation with somebody via Facebook earlier, and the person was saying, like, Aquarians are not loyal. And for me, that's not true. However, we will walk away from a situation that does not serve a good purpose for us, right? If there's disrespect of any kind, or if we just feel like, the relationship is not going the way that it should go, which is, depending on the person. Some people want a healthy relationship. Some people want, financial benefits from a relationship. So whatever it is for that particular person, and I'm not just going to stick with Aquarians, just in general. Some people, if the relationship does not serve a good purpose, they walk away. And that's one of the things that he's basically saying. We should not be staying in relationships that don't serve a good purpose in our lives. A lot of times people get stuck. They get involved with somebody. You start meeting each other's family. You've invested this time. You've invested, maybe even finances, especially for the men. And so you feel like you've invested in this person and this person has invested in you. But most women know from the beginning that it isn't going to work. Yet again, many will still stay and get stuck, because a lot of people say, "Oh, well, at least I got somebody. At least I'm not by myself," and they'll just accept. One of the things he says, he's a relationship coach, so he will ask his clients, would you rather be in a relationship that's just okay, or would you rather be in like a good relationship, like a good, healthy relationship? And most of the clients say they would rather just be in a relationship that's okay. Again, just to say that they have somebody. But for me, that's not acceptable. In the dating scene, like one of the things, I'm going to go back to another video I was watching earlier. And one of the things that Kevin Samuels would say is that basically if you're over 35, what is it? You're, basically, if you're over 35, you're undesirable and you shouldn't be picky, is kind of how he said it. But there's nothing wrong with being selective. Again, especially if you're not willing to settle for something that is no good, right? Just to say that you have somebody. Not everybody wants to do that. Some people have higher standards than that. Some people have boundaries, and once those boundaries are crossed, it's deuces, right? It's not, oh, well, I'm going to see if it's going to work out. And maybe some people did that when they were younger. I did that when I was younger. And again, especially when relatives are involved. I had a son, and my son got very attached to the man that I was dating at that time. But for me, there was a lot of verbal abuse. There was a lot of mental and emotional abuse. And a lot of people don't feel uncomfortable with that word. And a lot of people get comfortable with the treatment of that, especially if that's how their parents were. Right? But it's not okay. It's not acceptable. And for some people, especially somebody who can be sensitive or in tune with themselves and their emotions, it's unacceptable. Having somebody tell you, oh, you're fat, or, trying to control what you do with your money, or whatever the situation is. Because those are some of the things that I dealt with, right? But on the outside looking in, everybody thought we had a great relationship. People in my family were like, oh, like my grandmother was like, oh, you can't just overlook it just so you can, have a no, and no. No, I could not just overlook it. I was not willing to do that. But I do know some people who do, especially when they have that pressure from their relatives. My son boo-hoo cried. I mean, for hours. I felt so bad. But again, I knew that this was not right. It's one thing to have somebody lovingly say, oh, I don't even know. If somebody says, oh, let's go to the gym together, let's work out together. And there were times when I did that, but when I went to the gym with this person, I was being pushed. Oh, you need to do this and you need to do that. Like forcing me to lift heavier weights, or not forcing me, because I had a right to say no. And I'm not able to do this, but it was like belittling and degrading, because I didn't do these certain exercises this certain way. And I've had a personal trainer. That's not how a personal trainer should behave, right? So this was belittling. Again, verbal abuse, emotional abuse, mental abuse. But this is how some guys think that they're supposed to treat women in order to keep the women around. But then when that tactic does not work, they get mad. Right? And then you can really see who this person is and how they really are and how they show up in the world. And you can determine that this probably is not the right situation. But again, I know some people will stay, but some people will not. And that's just the bottom line. There are people, men and women, who will just try to reel you in. They'll love bomb, tell you what you want to hear, or at least what they think you want to hear. And a lot of people fall for it, especially women, not for nothing. I did my Briggs and Myers personality test again. I always get the same result. It's INTP. Intuitive, but I'm also a thinker and a perceiver. And I forget what the N is, but most men are ENTP. Right? They're more extroverted. And most women are like IFS something, but it's like intuitive, feelers, judgers. So ISFJ, I think it is. Yeah, I think most women are ISFJ. So like intuitive, I think sensitive, feelers, and judgers. Whereas again, the only thing that I don't have in common with, men as far as that test is concerned is that I'm more introverted. But if you know me, you'll feel like I'm extroverted because I like to have fun, right? But when it comes to me, as a person, people don't realize those moments when I'm introverted. Because being fun can be very surface level, right? It's not necessarily deep. It's not necessarily, it's just fun, right? And again, people don't see that a lot of times. And with men being more extroverted, it doesn't mean like they're the life of the party, but they're more, likely to maybe speak up, which is more masculine, right? But being a thinker instead of a feeler, is different. So as an Aquarius, I am a thinker. Like, we think a lot. Although there are different types of Aquarians, I think that's something that we all pretty much have in common, that we're thinkers. The symbol is a water bearer, means that we pour out knowledge. You can't pour out knowledge if you don't think about what you're going to say. But people portray us as cold and mean and, these different things. But if we're mistreated, we just can cut those feelings off. Not that you don't still like this person or even love this person, but you're not going to allow somebody to mistreat you because you love them or like them. That's not how that works. And, sometimes people may think that they're getting over, or they're playing you, or that you're a pushover. And they'll think that until we respond a certain way, which one of the ways that we might respond is by leaving. And again, if somebody thought they were getting over on you, when you leave, they're surprised. And some people get mad. Because nobody has to stay in a situation, again, that's not good for them. That does not serve a good purpose in their life or the life of those who they are here to help. Because as far as I'm concerned, we are all here to help. Either one person or multiple people. Whatever that looks like for you in your existence. We are not here to use, abuse, manipulate, and things of that nature. But anyway, I thought that was very insightful to say that, I'm not loyal to people. I'm loyal to principles. And again, people think that they can do surface level or basic things and that you're just going to be head over heels and do whatever they want you to do. And when you don't, they're surprised. When you walk away, when you leave, they're surprised. I remember a young lady, I did her a favor and she did me wrong. And so I just slowly but surely removed her from my life. And again, when I did it, she was shocked. And this, again, I was trying to help her. And she had the nerve to say that me helping her was stupid. Okay, well, don't worry about it anymore. You don't have to worry about that no more. I won't ever help you again. I didn't say that to her, though. I just moved accordingly. I remember back in the day, my best friend, her sister, was dating a guy. I think they even had a baby at that point. I can't remember, but anyway, they moved in together, and he became abusive. And one day when he went to work, she had saved up her money. She hired a moving company, moved all her stuff out, and didn't even leave spices in the cabinet. So there are people who, again, they will plan their exit strategy and walk right on out. And that doesn't mean they're not loyal people in general, but that does mean that they're not going to deal with a situation that's not good for them, period. So I hope that was helpful. As always, I love y'all. Don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe. I would love to discuss this if you think this was a helpful topic. Mwah.